Jeff, this is take 2. Well, you wouldn't get the first one.
Take 2.
Hello, welcome to Firehouse Stories, where we tell behind-the-scenes stories of the fire service and the members within the fire service. And my name is Bob, and this is Doug, and we're career firefighters, as were our fathers. So we have an awful lot of stories to tell you. Doug and I worked together for quite a while. We worked at this one old hall that we told you about in the previous episode with this wonderful captain, this guy that was just such a gentleman and had so much tolerance because he needed it with Doug and I. But this was, and I know the year, Doug. I know the year because I still have the bicycle.
No.
1987.
Oh
It was the first year that Norco made mountain bikes.
Is that what the year that happened?
1987. And I bought a Norco mountain bike, and so I brought it into work, right? And I was showing Doug, and I mean, we were just impressed how you could just turn on a circle, and you could do so much more with it than you could with a street bike. So we sort of, I mean, this was like an old hall, like a really narrow hall. It was designed for horses, right? So these big trucks, they just barely fit. And you might have had 6 feet on one side and 6 feet on the other side, maybe at the most, right? And at the front of it, where the doors came down, you maybe had 3 feet at the most.
I'd say about 3.
At the most. So we would set a course around the fire truck with the bicycle to time one another going, to see how fast we could go. But along one leg of the course, we went past the captain's office, and Bill was in the captain's office, and he was also, he wanted to keep us safe, right? He worried a lot about that, and I don't blame him, Doug. But
He worried about everything.
He'd say, "Boys, you're going to hurt yourselves. Jesus, please be careful. Please. I don't want to write
the paperwork. Oh my
jeez."
God.
And you didn't tell us to stop. They told us to be careful, so we thought we should stop. But before we'd stop, we'd give him a treat. So we went up and got some ketchup.
It was your idea, not mine.
And we came down, and Doug got on the bike, right? And I'm saying, "Okay, Doug, one last time, then we're going to put it away. All right, let's go. Go. You got to beat your record." And Doug's friggin' seems it was the first leg, and the captain's looking by, and sees Doug going by the door, right? And goes around, and then comes back. And when he came around the back end, we kicked over the garbage can.
Yeah.
Doug got off the bike. I quickly put it on top of him, right?
Spun the front
wheel, and then give him a squirt of ketchup.
above the eye and on the elbow.
Yeah, not too much, but enough to make it believable. Yeah, we did a good job there. So, and when Bill walked out of, or the captain walked out of his office, he could look over and see us, and he went, "Oh my God!"
Told you guys, oh my God.
Jesus, sees a scene of a garbage can over and Doug on his back with his
Moaning
wheels.
and groaning, He thought that was the paperwork.
The paperwork. "Oh, gosh, are you okay?" He'd come over and we're assholes, Doug. No doubt.
He was beautiful. Remember,
He was. Yeah.
remember us timing him. He had what's
Narcolepsy.
What's it called?
Narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy.
It's where you could.
Fall asleep.
I seen him talking to 4 people in a circle, standing up with his hands in his pocket, rocking back and forth, sleeping.
Well, at lunchtime, we had this couch that we found in the garbage. And we brought it upstairs and we put it up in the kitchen in front of the TV. So you could lie on the couch and watch TV.
But it was comfortable.
It was comfortable, but it looked tired. It was a very tired looking couch.
Hardly even smelled.
Not much.
No.
I never sat on it. I wouldn't sit in it. But Bill would lie in it. And he was a shorter guy. So this love seat that he would lie in, he would fill it, but just. Anyways, he'd pop his pillow up and he'd watch the news at lunch and he'd fall asleep. And Bob would look over at me and we'd wink and we'd say, "Hey, Bill.
What?
Wait, what?" Well, we had to get him what the game was. We had to get him to say what?
Yeah.
Say something out of his mouth, and then we'd time him.
We'd answer question too. We'd ask him a question. "We going out this afternoon?" "No."
Yeah, and then we'd time him to see how long it took for him to fall back to sleep. And what did we get him down to?
I think it was about 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds. He was fast.
Yeah, he could fall asleep.
He was funny. Oh my God, I love the guy.
For
Love the guy
everything,
to
yeah.
death. But yeah,
Yeah. One night, to tell you how deeply he slept too, him and his wife had their bed at home, and it was beside a casement window that you slid up and down. And Bill slept next to the wall, and his wife slept on the other side. And one night they went to sleep with the window open, and the window was it was getting cold, right?
Yeah.
So his wife tried to wake him, and it couldn't be done.
Yeah.
So she reached over him and she grabs the window, and of course the casement windows, the old ones, right? You had to get them just right, but when you got them just right, they came down, right? So she was grabbing like that, boom, and it came down on her fingers, right?
God, I remember that.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I remember it.
Here she is. She's leaning over her husband, this captain of ours, with her fingers caught and actually bleeding.
Yeah, and she can't get the window back
And
up.
she can't open it because you got to wiggle it to open, and she's right in the center, right? And so she's there and screaming at him to wake up, and he won't. And finally, she gets out of it. And Bill says, "I woke up," and she said, "She wasn't happy with me, and I was trying to figure out why." He says, "Oh, you know why?" but it did answer a mystery for him why the blood was on the windowsill.
Yeah, he was quite a guy.
But anyways, thanks for visiting us today, and stay tuned for our episode. If you liked it, we post every Friday. Please press subscribe, and it'll come right to your mailbox. There's nothing else that comes with it. Just press subscribe, and you see us every Friday. And if you like us, press like. And until next week, we'll see you.
Bye now.